right, boys and girls, we're just getting the stream set up. Apologies for a little bit of this delay. You don't always take this long in getting set up, but these days, because time is coming at a premium in my life, I wind up needing to kind of move just a little bit faster, get certain things done in a certain amount of time. And it looks like, let's take a look here one more time. It looks like, are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Looks like our live stream is coming through. And we got people commenting. Yankee, what? Oh my gosh. Yankee, why do you always show up to my live streams only to complain? Oh my gosh. Seriously. I'm never at your live streams, but you show up to mine to complain. Good grief. John Ketchum is in the chat. Good to see you guys. Alrighty. Looks like we have everybody here. Things are arranged. Welcome back to another episode of the Mining Market Signal. My name is Seth, and you're watching Mine Your Biz. We do this show pretty regularly. It's kind of looking like more of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. Let me run that subscribe reminder. If you're not, then hit that button, click the bell icon, turn on all notifications, gosh darn it. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on not only Gem Hunter content, but this kind of market commentary content. Now, I apologize to Son of a Tech, who is a good egg, right? He's one of the good ones. And I think the tail end of his live stream is finishing up right now. So apologies for going live at the same time. I'm running out of hours for my morning, right? And if I don't grab this hour now, I will fail to get it the rest of the day, right? So let's move out of this view and let's talk a bit about our fear and greed index, shall we? Guys, first off, your chat is on the screen, so do try to, be on your best behavior. This is being recorded for posterity's sake. Think of the children. All right, current score is 28. We are firmly in the territory of fear, not extreme fear just yet. Trend is still down in that range of fear, and we haven't gone back to neutrality above that score of 29 for weeks, and we're coming up on almost a month since we were last in greed, and I think that this is going to make a big difference. We got Gundy stuffing things in the chat. Says, yo, what's up, crypto friends? Good to see you in the chat, brother. Thanks for being here. Yankee says, Murica. Always appropriate, sir. Thank you. You guys think I'm joking? No, I'm not. Seriously, Yankee and we need to get together to do some more GPU ventilation tests. I think I have some other ventilation hole sizes that I think we should maybe do together. That'd be a fun crossover. But yes, Murica, indeed. Woody Inc. says Bitcoin going to $13. You know what? You forgot the 13.69 for $20 because it always, that's how it works. I don't make the rules. Turtlefoot Mining says it's crypto winter, just temporary. And Woody Inc. says bull market is over. John Ketchum says, yep, I apologize. My mind put a P where the M was. Your name isn't Ketchup. Sorry. But you might be Canadian. That's the thing. A lot of miners are. It's crazy. Woody Inc. says 13K. Hey, no, that's actually not a bad suggestion. Not a bad possible prognosis for where it's heading. But guys, this is the current sentiment. Why does everybody feel this way? Well, let's take a look to see what the current news articles are. The media that's influencing people's feelings. And right now we got something from the San Francisco Tribe. Not normally the place I would go for news, but the news aggregator that I normally check suggested it. And I kind of like this content. It's not that I think that the outlet itself is trustworthy, nor would I ever in a million years go even kicking and screaming. You couldn't pay me enough to live in San Francisco. The place is the definition of the failure of some of America's largest cities, unfortunately. Like, it is the poster child for what not to do with a city. But the San Francisco Tribe, as a news outlet, has a pretty great piece here, actually. I really liked it. But they talk about the top crypto scams. And I don't have a link to this in the description right now while we're live, but there will be one after we go live. So do look for that down below. As per usual, guys, anything that I'm covering in this content, I want you to be able to look up for yourself at your own leisure. If you want to listen to this live stream more as a bit of a podcast, of course, I'm going to give you enough detail to just listen while you're at work or while you're on your morning commute as well. So appreciate you guys being here live. Chemo and Crypto says, I'll take any and all of the cheaper Bitcoin. Hey, I appreciate that sentiment. And Open-Minded Bitcoin is in the chat, coming back saying, would you be interested in doing a show together? Growing my channel and would love to have you on. Hey, that's a very kind gesture, very, very kind offer. Yes, I would love to do that. Guys, I love being a guest on other people's channels. It's a very kind gesture on your part. And I'm not one of those people who's like, well, I don't know. I only work with top influencers. Have you broken this threshold of, of fame, internet fame? Come on, man. Half the stuff we see is manufactured and fake when we know it too. And we're like, oh, this is great. Get some popcorn. Please fool me some more. Insane what we line up for, guys. But for me, not one of those guys. Absolutely love to come on your show, guys. And the offer is there for everyone. Smiley Gnome is in the chat, says, exit all crypto. The end is near. I love that. Guys, Smiley Gnome, OG in the space. He is trolling you, by the way. He's trying to buy your bags. But it's great to see him here. Anonymous Miners in the chat says, hey, I love popcorn. Love it, love it. Open-Minded Bitcoin says, that's why I watch your show. You do keep it real. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm trying, man. That's all we can do, right? Day after day, one foot in front of the other. But here we are, lest we get into a complete ego-stroking session. The 4 most popular crypto scams in 2021. This is what Yankee says. I usually only work with 50K plus channels, but I'll make an exception for you. That's true, actually. Yankee, it's nothing but down for him. He started his collabs with Red Panda Mining. Like, how do you follow that? You don't. Like, no, right? No reasonable person would do that. They're like, oh, so your last collab was with Red Panda Mining. Sure. Yeah, okay, I'll have you on. Like, nah, man, you look like whatever. Yeah. Well, thanks for showing up to my live stream, at least, Yankee. Seriously, remember when you're blowing up, when you're rich and famous from YouTube. But here we are, guys, the most popular crypto scams, social media scams, NFT scams, malware, and viruses, and the DeFi rug pull. And I can say, I'm going to add to this list because we've got a few people who run their own influencer outlets here in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're not subscribed to the people that you see in the live chat, everybody who you've heard me interact with so far has their own content stream. We got Gundy Stuff and Things, the DCA Adventure, Smiley Gnome, who's not strictly speaking a content creator, but is a business development person in the Bitcoin ATM space. Great person to know. Like, without exception, the time that I've spent with these people offline has made my life better. I think you should follow anything that they publish, frankly. So check out their links as well. Make sure you're subscribed to everybody you see in the chat who shouted out, at least, if not everybody else you see in the chat, guys. Great people in this community. I really think it's one of the very best anywhere in the crypto sphere and anywhere on YouTube. But I'll just say, malware and viruses, this is something that a lot of us in that space need to be aware of because we may have email addresses that are listed or public contact info. I get GQ'd, I get the golden question from a lot of sponsors who are fake sponsors, but in particular, here's kind of a tell. They tend to have a TLD from .cz areas. So Czech Republic, I don't know what it is about so many scams coming out of those Czech Republic email addresses. And then I finally got one from Poland as well. I'm kind of sad. But a couple of these scammers, they're targeting influencers and trying to get you to download a pitch deck or download a media kit that is secretly a Windows executable. Joke's on them. I run Linux. Everything is either containerized or has to be virtualized. So if I'm going to run anything that identifies itself as an executable file, I'd have to put it into VM anyway. But for anybody who's running Windows and you're doing that kind of client communication on Windows, a Windows machine, beware. They're not even clever about it, right? It's like .mp4.scr, right? Like an executable extension. So just be aware. There are people out there who are trying to scam influencers because they presume that somebody like Yankee, who's collabed with Red Panda Mining, they presume that you're going to have some kind of a wallet on that same machine, that if they own that machine by having you willingly install malware, that they may be able to access your private keys. So different scam, but related. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there because it's unique to this group that's watching right now. Smiley Gnome says, thanks, Seth. We all love what you do. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You guys know I do sponsored content too. And so it's a fine line that I walk. And I try to vet projects, and it's hard to vet the number of projects that come my way. I trash dozens of emails that are targeted, that are from projects that are asking me for my time and attention. And the ones that I actually pay attention to and try to vet also number in the dozens per week. And I'm not even that big a channel. Can you imagine what the biggest channels have to deal with if they don't have a separate vetting team? It's overwhelming. Like, this is one of those times where I legit thought over the last 24 hours, what if I just quit doing YouTube and I only focused on the day job where I know exactly who my marketing clients are and exactly what I'm delivering for them. And I just lived happy. I kid, guys. I love what I do, and I love being able to reach out with you guys and chat about this stuff. But DeFi rug pulls as well are number 4 on that list. Check out that link when you have a minute, because it's a little bit longer than we have time to cover in depth. But the point is that social media, the crypto giveaway scam, is as old as crypto itself. Ongoing live streams that pretend to be hosted by like Vitalik or some other recognizable person in the crypto space. And it's just old archive footage from some kind of an event that hadn't been published yet or that people haven't watched much of. So it looks new to you or me. But then they replay this live stream over and over again on a loop. And in the description, they have all these scam links that are designed to either steal your seed phrase or have you claim a fork by putting in your seed phrase somewhere, or have you sign in with MetaMask into a really bad smart contract that's able to sweep your wallet or something along those lines. But they pull you off social media first is how they initially get your attention. NFT scams as well. It's so bad, guys. Anytime there's a lot of money to be made, there are a lot of scammers that come out after that money. And then malware and viruses, talked about it before. DeFi rug pulls, pretty obvious. Just a bad smart contract. Without going into too much depth there, but take a look at that, guys. 4 phases of the crypto market cycle. This is what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit more in depth today. Maybe before I go there, let me reorder some of the news so we can talk about something that lines us up for that last bit right there. Have a more in-depth conversation today. Yankee says that's why I use the library computer in private mode. Bro, you're doing it wrong. You got to get all your mining software for Monero on a bunch of thumb drives and use all the computers at the library, at all the local public libraries and in the ones in the next county. That's what they're meant for. All those spare compute cycles, they don't need them. You can use them. Guys, this is satire, by the way. I'm not suggesting that anybody actually go and legally commit computer hacking crimes. Just saying. All right. But here, back again with the San Francisco tribe, they talk about the NYC coin overview. This is kind of a big deal, guys. City coins, they started off with Miami coin. They're based on the Stacks protocol. And so far, Miami coin, I wouldn't go so far as to say like, oh, I was wrong, I'm not going to recant or whatever. I think that they are proving the concept, though, and they took a lot of heat. And it's possible that the City Coin project for the city of New York, that they may be able to fix some of the problems with governance, fix some of the problems with the overall, the split of the tokenomics that goes directly to the city. Maybe they can fix some of the stuff based on feedback that came in through Miami Coin. A lot of us were pretty vocal about it, right? So if NYC Coin can fix that, maybe they're on to something. Maybe City Coins actually does have a future, and maybe they're going to endure past this market cycle and actually gain some adoption, some traction. I mean, I know, right? Like, I wasn't expecting to say that, but Miami Coin has kind of endured regardless of the criticisms that have come its way, regardless of the Bitcoin maxis being very bitter about it, being built on Stacks protocol and not maybe following exactly what they thought it should. It's done quite well. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's done quite well. So if NYC Coin does work, then who knows? Maybe City Coins is just going to be a reality. Maybe we're just going to see it happen everywhere else, right? Like San Francisco and LA and Chicago and all the major cities, right? That we see all around. What I think is going to be a sign that they've really arrived is when you start seeing areas that are like the unsung heroes of the flyover states, so to speak, like Milwaukee, right? Where people love hanging out in Milwaukee, straight up. People actually do like being in Milwaukee. It's got great nightlife, apparently, and a lot of people go there for business. Other areas like Laramie, Wyoming, and these other, or in Jackson Hole and stuff, these vacation spots that are close to where a lot of businesses will set up their corporate retreats and also set up like their annual stockholder meetings. These happen in some of these other places, not Chicago, not San Francisco. They stopped doing that well over a decade ago because when you set up a stockholder meeting for, say, a massive company like Google or Facebook in some very public place in LA, you know what happens? People line up outside and they hold these signs. They picket and they say, "Oh, we're boycotting you. You're terrible. Antitrust lawsuits. We like down with Google, down with Facebook." without me putting my own value judgment on that, that's just what happens. So these flyover cities and these flyover states, they see a lot more of that kind of action. That's very much tied into, very much tied into Slack. Slack is like the new bane of my existence, but I love it. But I hate it, but I love it. Anyway, but you have these stockholder meetings that take place in large cities and the mob shows up. That's the bottom line. So you go to these other places and they wind up getting phenomenal tourism out of it. And these companies love these places and they've kind of built them up into better areas to visit. So when one of those cities starts saying, yeah, we want a coin now, then I'll start believing like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Like it's not just an obvious cash grab. But NYC coin might be a step towards that, right? As they prove that concept more. And as we see an LA coin, as dirty and scummy as that's going to be, and a San Francisco coin, then maybe some of these cities will also say, yeah, we've got enough confidence, we'll try it. And then we'll see that happen. And then in my mind, we will have arrived. So baby steps, right? Baby steps. We're going to get there, maybe. I don't know if I love it. You guys tell me what you think. The Deadwood says the downfall of society is mob rule. That's probably true. I think also ivory tower politics. There are a lot of ways that society can be broken. It's actually much more fragile than we think, guys. The freedom that we enjoy was not free in the past. I know it sounds trite, but it was not free. People lived and died for it. So yeah. Some Goblin Loser, I don't know, says, Mind Your Biz, doesn't the entire state of Wyoming use cryptocurrency? Well, yeah, actually I think you can still pay your taxes there. The state of Ohio as well. So that's what I'm saying, man. So cities like Columbus, right? Cities like Columbus, when they start saying like, we will issue a cryptocurrency, or again, like not just, the state of Wyoming has taken a much different approach to how they accept cryptocurrency. So a little bit different, guys. Dynamite Mining offers an excellent suggestion, says, just tap the like. Appreciate that, guys. Do hit that thumbs up and click the buttons. All the clickety clicks go to Uncle Seth's directly into my likes pocket. Ha ha ha. I'm secretly getting rich on likes. Appreciate it, guys. It does help. So thanks for that. Guys, whoa, got so much. Bitcoin Jake asking about needing a new mining motherboard setup, willing to sell an S9. Oh, bro. Yeah, we got to talk about that soon. A little more. Crypto McKell's in the chat. Guys, a new challenger has entered. Throw them on screen. But this is our 4 phases of crypto market cycle, guys. And now I kind of want to jump through other stuff too. Current price of Bitcoin, so we can get back and really have a meaty conversation here. Current price of Bitcoin, we dipped below 50K, guys. It happened. There we are. We're almost back on track with that downward. Oh no, the chopsticks. I don't like that the chopsticks are leading us to some truth here. This is not good. Smiley Gnome dropped in some truth in the chat. BT Dubs on that note that Wyoming is the most friendly state when it comes to setting up DAOs. They're the only state, in fact, in the entire country and first in the world to officially recognize DAOs as corporate entities. They will go to the federal government and argue on your behalf that your like little ring of EVM signatures and all the little like actions that it does on Ethereum or whatever other chain, that it represents a corporation. It almost sounds crazy, right, when you frame it that way. But they're just crazy enough to do it because they want to see the innovation. It's kind of cool, man. Much respect to the state of Wyoming and people there who are making that happen. So, nice. Dynamite Mining says, look, you hit like and we got more people. Good job. Appreciate that, guys. Definitely appreciate all the clickies help. But here we are, guys. The chopsticks are still showing us bounce downward into this range. And unfortunately, MACD is showing that the histogram is staying bearish there. See that? We moved towards convergence and then we bounced off. It's very subtle on your screen right there, but I can see it a little more clearly. And the MACD is not showing us any relief, right, from bearish conditions. We're still downward, but it's only showing us what's in the past. We cannot predict the future. Please do take all of this stuff with a heavy, heavy dose of salt, right? Like there's no way that my chopsticks can know for sure where we're going, but it does make me very, very sad that we've come close to identifying a potential midpoint here, a low point. I have heard calls for 40K being the support level that we have to keep before the shoots get deployed. I love the way that was said yesterday on our live stream. But before the shoots get deployed, we have to maintain this level of support at 40K. This yellow range, normally it means go faster, right? DCA, go faster, boom. right? Just like when you're at a stoplight. When we get to green, that means you probably find a DCA, unless we're in the middle of a massive crash, right? So that would be bad. Angel says, like. Appreciate that. Thank you, Angel. Let me go ahead and lock that in. Jump over to our TVL, which hasn't changed very much, guys. Really quickly, I want to go through some of these market reports. Looks like right now we've got Ethereum dipping down to actually back up to 66% dominance in the DeFi markets. DeFi Llama is showing that Ethereum is coming back strong, like a raging bull, and just killing it. BSC is down in TVL. I don't know if that really matters, honestly. TVL is my least important metric. Protocols supported do matter, though. Polygon, since yesterday, has added 2 more protocols. It is just unstoppable at this point. Phantom adding another protocol. We may have had a multi-chain protocol hop onto both. That may be why. Vincent Gallo. Hey, Vincent. Long time no chat, man. How are you? So, yeah, guys, true story. Vincent and I, back in the day, we both worked for Samsung Telecom USA. But he says, question for MineYourBiz. Given your experience in the space, would you please speak about FPGAs, why it remains so impossible to get involved, bit streams and hardware, and how smaller miners can take part? If that is the Vincent Gallo I'm remembering. Super sharp guy. But that's a great question. Maybe we come back to that when we go over some of our profitability. But guys, right now, Polygon is still number 30. No, I'm going a little too fast there. Got a little too excited seeing an old comrade. But protocol support on Polygon, I think, is what has me still so bullish about it. Plus the overall building in that space. The fact that it's occasionally dipping down into lower, like better consolidation range and prices, like that for me is just, it's gravy. I love seeing it. But what to mine, guys? What to mine should tell us over on the GPU mining tab. Roughly, we have what we have to deal with here. Guys, I should also mention that Vincent, as I recall, excellent account and project manager. So mad respect. I'm dealing with some of those growing pains at an organization right now where you know, there's always that doubt of like, well, what are you going to do to make our process better? It's always been done this way, right? Like, no, it hasn't. Look for smart people to help you make it better, right? Like, it hasn't always been done this way. Rewind 100 years. No, it wasn't. Yeah, we can improve. Humanity has proven that. Anyway, guys, GPU mining profitability, take it over to 14 cents per kilowatt hour. I do want to get back to that main article because that is the main point of today's stream. RTX 3090 down in profit. We're down actually over 30 cents in profit. VDL has come up on Equihash 0. Autolycos is back on the map with our HBM2 cards. Yeah, Ravenbow Crypto says it's hard to make people change their ways. Yeah, it's true. Culture changes very, very slowly. So having somebody at the executive level who is accountable for helping to implement changes that shift culture over time, that's why that's become a thing, guys. It's not just a made-up role. I mean, it is kind of, right? Like CEO, right? And CCO, Chief Culture Officer, Chief Communications Officer. Paper Chasm says, I sent it to your email. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. I will be checking that. And Abdurrahman Hussein says, Naka, please. I don't know if I know that project. Maybe we can take a look at it. And we have, Ergo coming back onto the listings. I didn't expect to see it, but you know, who does? Making a little comeback. Also profitable on the 3080 Ti. Other top projects to look for: Zero, Equilibria, Firo, of course, as usual. But Equilibria has come back in kind of a big way across several different card profiles. Same with Firo, guys. Firo is a phenomenal fundamental project. Had a chat with somebody who's been in the space for 5 or 6 years, and they hadn't heard of Firo. My mind was blown, because I mentioned, hey, it was Zcoin. They say, oh, is that like a fork of Zcash? Which is what everybody asks. And the answer is no, it was not a fork of Zcash. It is its own novel zero knowledge system. So very strong fundamentals there. It's very cool. So shout out to Ruben Yap and the entire team over at Firo. Porum and Insom as well, the original founder. So guys, Ethereum Classic also on the list. Swap on the list. Do be careful though. Very low market cap. You could wreck it. Ethereum Classic, obviously BDL again. What else have we got that's looking like it's okay to mine? Beam looks like it's great on the Fury. A little bit of profit there. Another relatively strong fundamental project. I will say that after having interviewed the team publicly, they're great guys, but their first exposure to cryptocurrency and blockchain was when they first started building. So they took a very novel approach to Beam, but primarily Israeli-based team. Just be aware. Cool, sharp guys, but they're very non-conventional, very unconventional in their approach to blockchain, in that they just started from scratch. Zano on the list for the 1050 Ti, and LSM as well for the 3084 gig. Actually profitable there. Looks pretty good, guys. The portfolios, looks like we're locked out. So we're not talking about those today, guys. We're going to take a break. We're going to skip that for a day and just go over the 4 phases of a crypto market cycle. This is an article by Richard Knight, who also goes by the handle Data Driven Investor. Just want to make sure that we have our attribution correct there. And the artwork from today's thumbnail also needs to be attributed to Richard Knight. We need to just make sure that people know that their work is appreciated. And I did do derivative media from this thumbnail, just so you guys know. I feel pretty strongly about that. Creative Commons, hopped on Creative Commons licensing way back in the day. And I just really believe strongly in giving attribution wherever possible, and especially where it's due. Some Goblin Loser I don't know says, oh man, no 0x Bitcoin. Dang. I know. It's our favorite little emotional, right? It does to the price action what we feel in our emotions, or vice versa. It's great, right? We're on this roller coaster together. All right, guys, let's take a look at this article real quick together. But the 4 phases of a crypto market cycle, this is what I love. This is what I love talking about. People are talking about okay, we could go way up, we could go way down. Plan B was talking about 100K Bitcoin by the end of November. That didn't pan out. But then also we've heard people talk about us potentially plummeting to 20K Bitcoin up to this point over the last couple of months, which is always possible, right? Because of the bare production cost of Bitcoin. So I don't discount that, right? Potentially even, as was mentioned in the chat today, and we've talked about it on previous versions of this show where we've included the cost to mine one full Bitcoin. I've stopped doing that because of the number of cookies required and the number of junk on those pages that my current setup on Linux does no longer passes through my browser. That should tell you something. I'm not okay with using those tools anymore. But the point is, we did see some valuable data from those tools that indicated that the cost to produce one full Bitcoin could be as low as, on average, about 12 to 14K. 13K is not a bad guess for the bottom support level of Bitcoin in the future. It's really not the worst. Crypto Mikkel asks in the chat, did you see Team Red Miner added FPGA support for the FK33 and the C1100? I didn't see the specific models, but I did see on Son of a Tech's live stream that Team Red Miner added FPGA support. It's pretty awesome. So shout out to Son of a Tech, who was breaking that directly from the GitHub repo, the full change log from the GitHub repo. That's the kind of information, guys, that you absolutely need to be tuned into. So love what he's doing with his morning show. I know we got started after we started doing our morning show, but I think it's a phenomenal compliment, right? There's so many great creators in this space, and very, very few of us actually duplicate content. Got a little bit of crossover, but we don't duplicate, right? We don't copy. We actually try to provide value in unique ways. So love what he did this morning. And yeah, I did see that. But Anonymous Miner says, smash that thumb like it's your childhood enemy. Sir John is in the chat saying, hi there. How are you? Doing great. Doing great, Sir John. Good to see you. Tell Goran I say hello, and I need to review the game. It's been a little while since I've taken a look at the current state. But yeah. Abdurrahman asks, is the bull market over? That is a great question. Here are some of the signs to look for, guys. Everybody's talking about different price targets. I will not give you price targets per se, outside of, the chopsticks, which you need to really, really understand. These are not price targets at all. They're not price targets. This is a dude who got started on YouTube talking about cryptocurrencies by publishing a spreadsheet about how you can figure out hash per dollar per watt years ago, because nobody else was doing it. I don't do technical analysis. That's not what this channel is for. All right, so let's just frame that correctly. But there are some things we can look at historically that help, right? They help us to try to figure out and frame things well. I am going to take this out of dark mode, guys, unless you think that's okay right there. I guess that's probably high contrast enough. Yeah, it's high contrast enough. We'll leave it in dark mode. No lasers to the eyeballs today. Pop up that text size for you a little bit though. But here is a bell curve. And they say if you're a graphics designer, you may know it by the name of Gaussian function or Gaussian blur. In statistics, it's often referred to as the normal distribution or standard deviation, as it's used in probabilistic distributions. Yet most people are likely familiar with its common name, the bell curve, right? The bell curve. Paper Chazin says the uptrend is over when the numbers dictate it is over. It's overt when the numbers dictate it is over. That's awesome, man. But here are the different sides of the market. I see the bell curve. We see, or as we like to just often refer to it within cryptocurrency chat circles and blockchain circles, this is a typical blow off top or a double top, right? We see right there, boom, goes up. Look at the volume indicators down below as well. At the day of that massive spike, there's also huge volume. A lot of people buying, a lot of people selling. We don't see the order books right there to see exactly what the split is between buyers and sellers. But we do see that the volume is high down below from that histogram that runs underneath the price chart. Okay, so we see that blow off top though. Sir John, he says, hey Seth, I'm a little out of the loop now. How profitable is Chia mining now? Should I look into it? You know, I'm going to say something controversial. You might. The coin itself has dipped a lot in value, but this might be the right time to look at potentially starting to mine Chia. Maybe. Did I just throw everybody else for a loop? That's the idea, right? The market is zigging. We're going to zag. In Sir John's case, I think you might look into it, and knowing how thorough you are personally, maybe look into it. Yeah, but for most other people, I would say, you know, be careful. But yeah, maybe look into it, see what you can see. There's some good calculators out there, and yeah, some people are still in the money, but yeah, I would try to capitalize equipment wherever else you have it. Let's see. Vincent says, P.S. not from Samsung, sir. That's so crazy. You literally have the same name as somebody who I knew from that time. So, hey, whatever. You got me nostalgic there for a minute. You should have just like run with it. Been like, oh yeah, that's me. What's up, man? Long time no chat. So Jeremy De Jesus is asking about another storage mineable coin. I don't think we're going to go there on this chat, guys, but we want to take a look at looking at these market phases, right? These market cycles. This is a classic blow off top right at the very center there, but it is a double top. There was an opportunity to recoup losses if you bought on the uptrend, right? Or at that last dip. And the last market dip, I think, was pretty great. Thankfully, I was able to get a newsletter that I was running at the time back in 2017 to buy there. I feel very good about that, guys. Right there. Able to warn people about like, hey, we might see, like we get one more pullback and then I don't know what else we get. And hopefully, like, thankfully, we got some people in at that point. So it's been a good position to stay in, right? For a while. It was for a while until things like really drop back. But then even still hodling, right? You go past 5 years and you're probably okay. But if you're more high frequency, here we go. Take a look at this. That recent top, it didn't look like before, right? It's not a typical blow off top or double top. See that? It's more like a kind of a Bart Simpson, not even quite a head and shoulders. It's like a double top head and shoulders, right? With those two shoulders right there and heads in between. Kind of weird. Like I know I'm not phrasing that correctly, guys, but again, I'm not a trader, so I'm not going to pretend to be one. I'm going to try to use the best terms I can though to describe what I'm seeing. But the four phases, guys, that I think are important are the accumulation, the run up, distribution phase, and the run down. The big question right now that everybody's asking is, are we in the rundown? Is that what's happening? Did we pass the distribution phase and are we in the rundown? Are we definitely in the rundown? Or could we see one more run up and then have there be a distribution or a blow off top or some kind of a double top again, or even like we saw prior on the first all-time high that Bitcoin made in this cycle going over 60K? Could we see another thing that looks like a Bart Simpson or like a head and shoulders, right? In a distribution like phase there. Or is this it? Is this really it? Are we going to see a rundown? And I think that target of maybe 40K-ish is that it's not a bad indicator that we may see a rundown. Now, we've seen flash crashes too in this market. We've seen like really fast liquidations. I think that it's so difficult to apply previous models to this market cycle because we finally have enough depth. We finally have enough liquidity and volume going through Bitcoin specifically and Ethereum that large scale institutions like JP Morgan that have publicly said like, yeah, we're not in Bitcoin. We don't have a position in Bitcoin, have finally admitted, yeah, no, we have to disclose we have a position in Bitcoin. That didn't happen before. And now that those massive players are involved in this space, guys, they invented some of this terminology. They invented some of these approaches. Some of their best and brightest minds are the people who came up with patterns. And this is just a simple one, right? A simple distribution, a simple look at markets. But their people are the ones who designed this stuff Bollinger, right? The guy who came up with the Bollinger Band. He talks about cryptocurrency pretty openly on Twitter, but people like him were hired by these institutions decades ago to come up with these processes and these ways of analyzing the market, of doing TA. So the best and brightest in describing technical analysis, they delivered all those tools to these massive institutions. They've been refining them. For us to think that we can definitely outperform them, it's, I'm just going to say we have to think twice. We really, at least twice, when we consider what our potential exit positions should be or what our potential entry point should be when looking at charts. And a simple model like this, accumulation, run up, distribution, rundown, this just tells us the basic phases of the market. That's it. Just basic phases. So the question right now, have we passed distribution? Are we definitely in rundown? Right, same question. Are we definitely in rundown? Or is this just part of a larger run up where we see a return, right? This is just a pullback and we see a return to a run up or a bullish channel, right? Bullish price action. And then we see distribution higher, right? And if that's the case, maybe we see distribution at 100K. Maybe we see a blow off top somewhere around that level. Maybe we never see 100K though. And that's been firmly my stance for a while, guys. You've heard me say it. It would be great if we did see it. Historically, every Bitcoin halving resulted in a roughly an order of magnitude higher price action or higher all-time high, printing a new all-time high. There was at least 1 0 greater, right? Like minimum. It was 1 0 greater, regardless of how it was prepended, right? Whether it was a 20,000 or a 10,000, right? The same year that Bitcoin finally crossed 10,000, it retraced back to 4 figures, right? After it had its distribution phase and went back into its rundown. The point is, it went 1 full order of magnitude higher. I think all of us were expecting that now, since we saw not just 10,000 or 60,000, that we would see somewhere over 100,000 printed as a new all-time high. And I think that's why Plan B talked about 100,000 so casually, is that all the previous market cycles based on the halving, right, and the stock to flow model of Bitcoin would indicate that there should be a full order of magnitude in new price discovery, right, in that printing that new all-time high. But we didn't see it. And in my opinion, right, guys, take it with a huge grain of salt. Seriously, I do not have a Series 7. I'm not here to financially advise you. But in my opinion, we're looking at the biggest institutional suppression of price discovery that Bitcoin has ever seen. And that's saying something, right? With all the Bitcoin obituaries that have been done over the years and all the news outlets that say everything cryptocurrency related is a scam. Now we're seeing real manipulation on the ground at the exchanges, right? On the order books. Sometimes we're not seeing them on the order books. Sometimes they're expert at completely hiding their trades because of the position sizes of certain trades and the various number of accounts that certain institutions hold, right? Because they've got a full trading floor of people that work their portfolio. You and I, whatever, we've got an app on our phone that tells us about our portfolio. Very, very different trading approach, I think. We got a couple of things coming through the chat right now. Let's see. Vincent is saying the bell curve should go vertically, not horizontally, and scale with time. Sorry, please excuse my disregard for technical analysis. No, it's okay. No, guys, you probably see me kind of like say that it is a bit like voodoo, right? It's hard to know whether or not anybody in the TA space is seeing straight, because we're talking about much larger influences and sentiment indicators that I think affect people's buying and selling decisions far more than TA ever could. I don't think TA causes buying and selling. I'll put it that way. But I do know that market sentiment absolutely causes buying and selling, because sentiment is what causes buying and selling in every market of every type. Homes, jewelry, cars, collectibles, gold and silver. There's a narrative and a story behind all of them that tells people personally, like, oh, cool, I feel good about this. I'm going to try it. And they buy. Like, it really is kind of that simple. The whole sell me this pen nonsense, right? Better, sell me this battery. Sell me this, this Bitcoin. It's all based on narratives, and it creates emotions. So yeah, TA, I agree. There's a lot of it that's like voodoo, it's a black magic, but sentiment, no. People feel a certain way about things and they buy or they sell. I think it really is that simple. Smiley Gnome offers some great alpha here, says ETH has a much larger market share and ecosystem than 2017. ETH doesn't have, so this market cycle may change from historical BTC cycles. That's true. I think it has decoupled pretty firmly over the last few months, especially with its most recent run up and with movement towards beacon chain merge. It's done things that it hasn't done before. I don't know. I guess if you zoom out even more, maybe it's never fully been correlated to Bitcoin, but it has had a pretty long run of tight correlation to Bitcoin. So I think it decoupled again recently. But Vincent mentions the volatility will compress as derivatives volume and availability tick up. It has happened in every market and feeds hedged strat desks who arbitrage the tails out. For example, hedged staking, buy right. The value will likely not, as the cash floor keeps rising alongside adoption. Cool. This is a much more in-depth conversation. And yeah, Vincent, I'm only picking up half of what you're throwing down here. I agree that these are very different markets, and we're seeing value flow into these markets because there's a flight to hard assets that was also very different from every previous cycle of Bitcoin. Like, if Bitcoin was actually created as a reaction to the 2008 financial crisis, if those are the market conditions it was designed to combat against, well, right now is its trial run to see how it does when we return to similar market conditions. And we may see that in the traditional financial markets that things are far more dire than they were in 2008. So this is, yeah, Bitcoin's opportunity to prove its worth, right, as a hard asset, see if it endures and see if it actually does help people who are the most underprivileged and the most taken advantage of by traditional institutions. I don't know how it's going to do. I'm really not, I'm not sure at this point, because people of El Salvador were kind of unhappy with their Bitcoin position when it first dipped. Now they're happy, but if they can't buy bread in a few more months, nah, you're going to see rioting in the streets. And like, ironically, a call for a return to the dollar of all currencies, a return to the US dollar. That's just sad. But looking back to the chat, guys, let's see. Open-minded Bitcoin is asking, MineYourbiz, how do you feel about HNT? I've talked about it before, and I apologize. I'm going to be a little bit short here and just let you know that I'm not a huge fan of Internet of Things projects. I think that they are a bad trend for society. And I realize I'm one very small voice, but I don't own a smart TV that has a microphone on it. I don't own a home assistant. I don't own a video doorbell, and I never will, ever. And I won't let my family members buy them if they ask me. I will encourage them not to, because I don't want to be spied on when I visit them. So I think that HNT, it's a cool idea, and it's been helpful in some ways to the crypto mining scene. But yeah, guys, I think I need to call it a day. John Hill says, I told you a few weeks ago, top is in. I don't think he was wrong, guys. But let's take a look at those market cycles just one more time. This is the pattern, guys. So the big question is, are we in the rundown, or will we see another small run up to a distribution phase where there's a blow off top or a double top? With that, I thank you for smashing that subscribe button, making it explode, clicking the bell icon so you are notified of all new media coming out. Guys, you are the reason that I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to check out mineyour.biz, where you can sign up for our email newsletter, where we're still ramping up content, but you will occasionally receive specials for flash sales and all kinds of other deals that we have going on the site. You can also check out our services page, where we offer consulting to projects that need it. You can pick up the Freedom Phone, which respects your privacy. You can pay for it in crypto and have it shipped to you anonymously, as well as getting merchandise that also is paid for with crypto. That's right, we practice what we preach, including, well, a Flux swag page. That's right. It's a dedicated page just for the team over at Flux Network, because we love them that much. Thanks for watching to the end. Thanks for being subscribed. You know I love your face. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz.